If you've ever tried to manifest something and wondered why it didn't show up on your doorstep, this video is for you. Today, we're going to cut through the vague quotes and the glittery mood boards and look at two of the most talked about ideas in self-development: the law of assumption and the law of attraction. I'll explain each in plain language, show you how they actually play out in real life, and give you a simple framework to test both so you can find what truly works for you. Let's start with clear definitions. The law of attraction says that like attracts like. Focus on what you want, raise your vibration with gratitude and positive emotion, and you'll draw matching experiences into your life. In practice, this often looks like visualizations, affirmations, and vision boards that help you feel the feelings of your desired outcome so the universe can mirror them back to you. It's about magnetic pull, where your thoughts and emotions are the magnet. The law of assumption, popularized by Neville Goddard, says reality conforms to your dominant state of being. You assume a result as already true. You occupy the identity of the person who has it, and the outer world reorganizes to match your inner state. In practice, this looks like living from the end. Instead of trying to attract a partner, you assume you are already a loving partner in a mutual relationship, and you move through your day from that state. It's about identity and inevitability rather than attraction and pull. Here's the key difference in everyday terms. Attraction starts with desire and alignment. You say, "I want this," and you work to feel good and stay open so it can come. Assumption starts with identity and embodiment. You say, "This is already me," and you behave like the result is a given. Attraction emphasizes feeling and allowing. Assumption emphasizes being and deciding. One asks, "How can I get into the feeling of having?" The other asks, "Who would I be if it were already done?" People often ask which one is correct. The honest answer is that both can work, and both can fail, depending on how you apply them. If you treat attraction like wishful daydreaming without action or consistency, it fizzles. If you treat assumption like delusion without calibration to reality, you burn out or ignore obvious feedback. What works is the practical intersection of inner state, consistent behavior, and feedback-driven adjustment. In other words, your inner story, your daily actions, and your ability to course-correct need to point in the same direction. Let's illustrate with a simple example: getting a new job. The attraction approach might be to visualize opening the job offer email, write daily affirmations like, "I am attracting my dream role," and spend time feeling grateful as if it's already here. The assumption approach would be to step into the identity of, "I am the kind of person who is headhunted for roles like this." You would update your LinkedIn headline, speak about your projects with calm certainty, network from a place of equality, and prepare like you already belong in that room. Both approaches include positive emotion, but assumption locks in identity and behavior quickly. Here's a second example: improving your fitness. The attraction angle is to picture your stronger body, feel appreciation for your current health, and keep your mood aligned with the future you want. The assumption angle is to declare, "I am an athlete in training," and then schedule your workouts, prep your meals, and choose sleep like it's not optional. When you're tired, attraction might push you to restore your mood. Assumption says you train anyway because that's what your identity does. Again, both can be powerful. Attraction tends to be softer and mood first. Assumption is identity first and behavior heavy. Now, a few myths to clear up. Myth 1: if I assume it, I should never feel doubt. Not true. Doubt is part of being human. The trick is to make your chosen state the dominant one, not the only one. Myth 2. Attraction means I never have to act. Also not true. The most reliable manifestations involve action that's aligned with your desired outcome, because action exposes you to opportunities and feedback. Myth 3. Assumption ignores reality. No. Healthy assumption sets your internal compass, then uses feedback from reality to fine-tune strategy while keeping identity stable. So which one actually works? The version that you consistently apply, measure, and refine. To help you test this, here's a simple 4-week experiment. Week 1, choose a single outcome. A job interview, a new client, finishing a creative project, anything measurable. For 7 days, use a pure attraction protocol. 10 minutes of visualization, a daily gratitude list tied to your outcome, and one aligned action that feels exciting, like sending a warm email or sharing a portfolio piece. Track your mood and your results each day. Week 2, switch to pure assumption. Every morning, write one paragraph from the perspective of "it's already done." Speak and act as that identity. Make decisions that person would make. Instead of chasing motivation, use identity to decide. Track your behavior and your results. Notice not just what happens, but how you move through setbacks. Do you recover faster? Do you take bolder actions? Do you get clearer feedback? Week 3, combine them into what I call assumed attraction. Start in identity. Write your already done paragraph. Then use attraction to regulate your emotional state so your behavior doesn't feel forced. 2 or 3 minutes of breath work, a short visualization, and a gratitude prompt for momentum. Finish with one concrete task that the assumed identity demands today. This version leverages the steadiness of assumption and the state management of attraction. Week 4, iterate, look at your notes. Which approach generated more consistent action, better conversations, or clearer opportunities? Keep your identity from assumption if it helped you act. Keep your state practices from attraction if they kept you resilient. Build your personalized toolkit. You're not here to defend a philosophy, you're here to get results. Let's talk about language, because how you speak to yourself matters. Attraction language often sounds like, "I am attracting aligned opportunities." Assumption language sounds like, "I am a person for whom aligned opportunities are normal." Notice the difference. The first frames opportunities as something approaching you. The second frames them as a characteristic of who you are. Neither is inherently better, but identity language tends to reduce friction. When it's who you are, actions cost less willpower. A quick note on the brain. You don't need mystical beliefs for any of this to be useful. When you hold a clear image and associate it with strong emotion, your brain tags it as important, which can change your attention and your behavior. When you adopt an identity and repeat it, your predictions about yourself shift, and you make different micro-choices. Whether you call it the reticular activating system, predictive processing, or simply, "I act differently when I believe differently," the practical effect is the same. Identity plus emotion plus action tends to produce results. So how do you avoid common traps? With attraction, the big trap is spiritual procrastination, endless journaling, mood work, and playlist making that replaces the uncomfortable action that would actually move the needle. Your antidote is a daily proof step, a small, slightly scary action that creates evidence in the physical world. With assumption, the trap is brittle certainty, refusing to read feedback because you think adjusting means you're breaking state. Your antidote is humility checkpoints, weekly reviews where you keep your identity steady but tweak your strategy. Here's a micro routine you can steal. Morning, 1 minute. If it were already done, what tiny action would I take before noon? Noon, 90 seconds. What emotion would make this easier, and how can I generate 10% more of it? Evening, 2 minutes. Where did I act like the future me today, and where did I avoid something? What's the smallest repair I can make tomorrow? This routine blends assumptions' identity question with attraction's emotional tuning and finishes with action and repair, which builds momentum. Let's also be real about setbacks. Neither law prevents rejection, delays, or weird detours. You can assume you're a great creator and still post a video that flops. You can visualize an amazing launch and still miss your numbers. What matters is your recovery identity. Do you see setbacks as proof it's not working, or as proof of progress and calibration? The assumed identity says, "This is a normal part of my path. I adjust and continue." The attraction mindset says, "I keep my state as neutral positive as possible so I can try the next step." Combined, you become both steady and resilient. What about relationships and money? The two big ones everyone asks about. For relationships, attraction practices can soften defensive energy, making you more open and present. Assumption helps you stop auditioning and start relating as an equal. A practical blend is to assume, "I am a great partner who chooses great partners." Then use attraction-style gratitude to notice and amplify good interactions. For money, attraction can reduce scarcity anxiety, so you don't act desperate, while assumption pushes you to price correctly. Ask for raises, pitch boldly, and deliver with integrity. If you want a short checklist to keep, try this. 1. Pick one identity sentence that makes you stand taller, like "I am a reliable finisher" or "I am a creative pro who ships weekly." 2. Pick one state practice that moves you quickly, like a 2-minute visualization or a gratitude voice memo. 3. Pick one proof step per day that your calendar can't ignore. 4. Weekly, review the last 7 days and ask, what created results and what was just noise? 5. Celebrate evidence ruthlessly, even if it's small. Evidence compounds. Before we close, let's revisit the core question. Law of assumption versus law of attraction. What actually works? The best working model for most people is to assume identity first, attract state second, and execute proof steps third. Identity reduces friction. Emotion fuels action. Action produces evidence. Evidence reinforces identity. That loop is incredibly powerful. If you prefer to start with mood and visualization because it gets you moving, great. Just make sure it leads to decisions and behavior that someone with your desired outcome would reliably make. To make this concrete, I'm giving you a 7-day challenge. Day 1. Write a 1-paragraph, it's already done letter to yourself about one specific goal. Day 2. Record a 60-second gratitude voice note about 3 present moment wins related to that goal. Day 3. Take a proof step that scares you a little. Day 4. Repeat the identity letter and adjust one sentence based on new info. Day 5. Do a 10-minute deep work sprint on the most leverage-filled task. Day 6. Visualize for 3 minutes, then immediately send one message, apply to one opportunity, or publish one thing. Day 7. Review your evidence and decide the next week's identity, state practice, and proof steps. By the end of the week, you'll know, not by theory, but by lived experience, which blend helps you move, which words unlock your behavior, and which practices are just pretty decorations. That's the real measure of what works. The law that wins is the one you will actually practice when you're tired, uncertain, or tempted to scroll instead of build. If this helped, save it and run the experiment. Tell me in the comments which approach gave you more traction and what your identity sentence is right now. And if you want a guided version of this, I've put the daily prompts in the description so you can follow along for the next 7 days. Assume the identity, attract the state, take the step, and let your results be the proof.